students. Our first chapter name is Source of History. 7th class chapter name is first chapter name is Sources of History. Good morning students. Today we will learn about the sources of history. Which are the sources in the history or of the history? Today we will learn about these all sources in this chapter. Firstly, I will read this topic and give hard work to you. After reading, you write this word in your notebook. First, I start reading. We studied ancient Indian history last year. This year we are going to study of medieval period of Indian history. Broadly, the period from the 9th century till the end of the 18th centuries is considered to the medieval period of the Indian history. Which period is known as the medieval period of the history? The 9th century. 9th century to which? 9th century to 18th century. This period is also known as the medieval period of Indian history. That means the 9th century to 18th century. This period is known as the medieval period of the Indian history. In this lesson, we are going to study of source of medieval history. History gives us chronological, scientific and systematic account of the past event. That means here given the definition of history. You know what is the definition of the history? Last year you learned about this. What is the definition of history? History is the study of past event. You know about this, but here history gives us the chronological, scientific and systematic account of the past event. Here new word is chronological. What is the meaning of the chronological? Chronological means arranged in the order in which the event happened. What is the meaning of the chronological? The meaning of chronological is arranged in the order in which the event happened. In Marathi, ज्यावेळेला एखादी घटना घडते तो घटना घडण्याची जी आपण इव्हेंट एखादा घडतो त्याची जी ऑर्डर अरेंज केलेली असते त्याला काय म्हटलं जातं? chronological. That means the meaning of chronological is arranged in the order in which the event happened. Then history gives us the chronological, scientific and systematic account of the past event. 4 factors are very important from the viewpoint of history. They are individual, society, place and time. Here given 4 main viewpoint of history. Which is the viewpoint of the history? Individuals, society, time and place. History must be based on authentic evidence or proofs. Authentics. New word here given. Authentics. What is the meaning of authentics or authentic? Authentic means true or real. Meaning of authentics, true or real. That means history must be based on the authentic evidence or proofs. The proofs are known as the sources of history. Let us classify the sources into material source, written source, oral source. To learn more about them, let us also evaluate. Next, evaluate. This word related to you and your examination. Evaluate means examine. Evaluate the source of history. That means the material source, written source or oral source. These are three type of source. And so evaluate the source of history. We have to consider many factors related to historical event that we want to study. It's necessary to support our study with the historical sources. These sources have to be verified. We have to see whether they are authentic. Authentic means true. Then authentic. It is necessary to use sources judicially. Judicially means next new word. Judiciously means justice. Only after the critical analysis. Critical analysis means analysis. Critical analysis. Critical analysis means breakdown to study of part. Study of part. Critical analysis means breakdown to study of any parts, any historical parts, any other parts. That means critical analysis. Then, what have an important place among the material sources? Some major types of forts are hill forts, forest forts, sea forts, and forts on the plains. Here given the different type of forts. Monuments included samadhis, graves, vargalas, and buildings. You know what is the meaning of the monuments? Monuments means any older building, older building or older building that is of historical importance. Historical important. Monuments included samadhis, graves, vargalas, and the buildings included palace, ministerial mansions, queen's quarters, raniwadas, and also houses of common people. They all provide insight about that period. Looking at them, we come to know about the development of architecture. Here, new word of architecture. ARCHITECTURE. of any building, design of any building. This style or design of any building. Style of design of any buildings. The economic condition of the quality of art, style of the building, construction and the people's standard of living in that particular period. Then the coins made by different rulers using metal like gold, silver, copper or important source of the history. From this point we learn about the rulers, their periods, governors, religious ideas, personal details, etc. Similarly, we also learn about the financial transactions and economical conditions prevailing at that time. We also see how far the metallurgies had advanced in that period, from the image of Ram Sita on the coin of Emperor Akbar or Shiv Parvati on the coin of Hyder Ali. We see the religious coordination of those days. The Peshwas used the Arabic and Persian language on their coin. This throw light on the use of language in that period. And inscription, newer inscriptions. Inscription means the word that are written on something. An inscription is a carving on a stone or a wall, etc. For example, the inscriptions found in the Vrudeshwara temple premises in Tanjavur, main inscription of the period of Chalukya, Chol and Yadav kings have been found. An inscription is considered to be very important and reliable source of history. It helps to understanding features like language, script, social life of period. Inscription carved on sheet of copper plate. This is known as the copper plate. Royal edict, verdicts, etc. are the inscribed on the copper plate. Then students, here reading is finished, but these are the some hard word in this topic, like a chronological. What is the meaning of chronological? The chronological means arranging the order in which event happened. Then second word, authentic. What is the meaning of authentic? True or real. Then third word is evaluate means examine. Then judiciously means justice. This word is related to your daily life or close to you. This word write your notebook and by heart this word. The next word is critical analysis. What is the meaning of critical analysis? Break down to study of part, any part. Monuments. Next word is monuments. What is the meaning of monuments? Old buildings that is of historical importance. Any buildings are like a Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is a old identity. But Taj Mahal is a historical place. Then architecture. This word is related to you or close to you. You know architecture is also branch of career. What is the meaning of architecture? The style of any building. Like in this architecture, the civil trade, you know, in engineering. This is related to this architecture, the style of any building. And then inscription means the word that are written on some things. As like a copper plate, you know, in Marathi tamrapot. Inscription means the word that are written on the something as like stone, copper plate. Today I will start the lesson. We studied ancient Indian history last year. This year we are going to study the medieval period of Indian history. Last year you studied about the history or ancient history of India. But this year we are going to study a medieval period of Indian history. What is the sources? What are the sources of the history? Which material are included in these sources? Then broadly the period from 9th century till the end of the 18th century. That means the 9th century to 18th century. This period is also known as the medieval period of the Indian history. That means 9th century and end of the 18th century. This period is considered to be the medieval period of Indian history. That means the 9th century to end of 18th century. Which 9th century and end of 18th century. This period is considered to be the medieval period of Indian history. You know about this. Last year you studied about this. In this lesson, we are going to study source of medieval history. That means in this 9th century to end of 18th century, this period is also considered to be the medieval period of the Indian history. History gives us the chronological, scientific, systematic account of the past event. That means, what is the definition of history? I tell about you. History is the sequence of the past event, or here given scientific definition. History gives us the chronological, scientific and systematic account of the past event. History give information about the past events. But which events? The are chronological means arranged in the order which the event happened. That means history gave us the chronological and scientific and systematic account of the past event. For example, the Shivaji Maharaj period, Akbar period, Birbal period. This event are past event, but history gave us the information about this event. That means history give us chronological, scientific and systematic account of the past event. 4 factors are very important from the viewpoint of the history. 4 points are very important from the viewpoint of history. Which 4 points? Who tell me? Anyone? 4 points. First point is individual. Individuals. Second is society. Society. Third is place. And That means this 4 point or this 4th viewpoint of history. First is individual, second is society, third is place, and fourth is time. That means 4 factors are very important for the from the viewpoint of the history. That means the individual, society, place, and time. These are 4 factors are very important. No anyone factors are like society is important in history. No, all 4 points or totally 4 factors are very important in the history. Understand? Then history must be based on authentic evidence or proofs. That means history is dependent on the real evidence or proofs. These proofs are known as the source of history. That means history must be based on authentic evidence or proofs. That means history is dependent on real proofs or real evidence, and these proofs or this evidence is also known as the sources of history. You understand definition of the history? That means 4 factors are very important for the history or the viewpoint of the history. Which point? First is time, second is place, society, and individuals. But history must be based on authentic evidence. That means history dependent on the history must be based on the authentic. Authentic means real or true evidence or proofs. These proofs known as these proofs or evidence are known as the sources of history. This is the name of our topic, sources of history. This evidence, this proof is also known as the sources of history. Let us classify the sources into 3 types. You know, sources of history is divided into 3 types. Anyone tell me? Last you learn about this. You don't know? Tell me. Sources of history. Sources of history also divided into 3 sources. 3 sources. First is material source, second is oral source, and third is written source. First is material source. First is material source. Second is written source. And third is oral source. First is written source. Second or sources. Written sources and oral sources. This diagram is so important for you or your sources of history related to this topic. First, sources of history. These sources are distributed in the 3 parts or 3 types. First is a material sources, second is a written sources, and third is a oral sources. You tell me, what is the meaning of material? What is the meaning of material? This word is you daily use in your life. Material, any object, anything. This material is what? Anything, any object related to this. And you tell me the meaning of the written. Written means you know, writing. And oral. Third is oral. This word you know. Oral test, oral communication. That means oral means speaking or telling, saying, as like. These sources of history is divided into three types: material sources, written sources, and oral sources. You understand that? Material, in these material sources, what is the meaning of material? Written you also know. Written exam, oral exam. But what is the meaning of written? What is the meaning of only oral? And this based these sources of history divided into three parts. That means material sources included which type of things or which type of sources included in these. Written sources, which type of sources included in these. And third, oral sources, which type of sources included in these. That means you first understand sources of history distributed or divided into three types. First is material source, then written source, and third is oral source. Sources, let's note about them. Let us also evaluate the source of history. We have considered many factors related to the historical event that we want to study. That means you know many factors related to historical event. Not only any factors related to the history, no, many other factors which is related to the history. Then it is necessary to support our study with the historical sources. That means this is only introduction. This part is only introduction of our topic, sources of history. But today we will deeply learn about what is the material sources, which sources are included in these material sources, which sources or which object, which things are included in the written sources, oral sources. These are only introduction of our topic. Event that we want to study, it is necessary to support our study with the historical events. These sources have to be verified. We have to see whether they are authentic. It is necessary to use the source judiciously and only after the critical analysis. That means any past event or any historical sources. Firstly, what is the definition of history? The history gives us the chronological or scientific systematic account of the past. That means this evidence, history must be based on the authentic evidence or true evidence or proofs. These proofs are also known as the sources of history. That means firstly these evidence are really true, or these sources are must based on authentic evidence. It is necessary in the history. These sources have to be verified. That means these sources are verified. We have to see whether they are authentic. It is necessary to use these sources judiciously and only observe the critical analysis. And then they do critical analysis. That means they break down to study of these parts of these events. Forts have an important place among the material source. Firstly, we studied about the material source. Material sources. Material sources. Forts have an important place among the material sources. Forts. You know forts. Forts have an important place among the material sources. That means in the material sources, forts have an important place. Some major type of forts are hill forts, forest forts, sea forts, and forts on the plain. That means these are material source. Forts is a material source, and these are distributed in different type of forts as like hill forts, forest forts, then sea forts, and forts of plain. Then monuments included samadhis, graves, vargalas, and the buildings included. Definition of monuments, or sorry, the meaning of the monuments. Old building that is of the historical important. Monuments included samadhis, graves, vargalas, and the building included. Next in this building included palace, ministerial, mansions. Mansions means palace. Palace, Queen's quarter, that means Rani Wadas, and also houses of common people. They all provided insight about the period. Looking at them, we come to know about the development of architecture, the economical condition, the quality of art, style of building, construction, and the people's standard of the living in the particular period. That means in the material source, and also material source also known as the physical sources. Material sources, and second name is physical sources. In the physical sources, which sources are included? First is forts, second is buildings, second is buildings, then third is copper plate. Start. In the material source is also known as the physical sources. That means in these material sources, which are material included, first is buildings, second forts, cave structures, copper plate, coins, and inscription. This diagram is related to the material sources. In the forts are divided into as like hill forts, forest forts, sea forts, and forts on the plain. That in these buildings, included palace, ministerial, mansions. Mansions means